Each of you, your own given reason, have found yourself in Royal City in Maradonia. Now, you all know the timeline, but this is the events of this campaign are taking place 50 years in the past to what we know it now and where we played in Crosshaven and such. But you found yourself in the beautiful, bustling, and growing city of Royal City. As you venture through the vibrant streets of Royal City, you find yourself caught up in a whirlwind of sights and sounds, an ever-shifting tapestry of chaos and celebration. The city breathes with an energy that thrums beneath your feet, a lively heartbeat that echoes through every stone and brick. The avenues are alive with a symphony of voices, a cacophony of accents and dialects that blend together in harmonious chorus. Merchants hawking their wares, eager to entice you with promises of exquisite trinkets and exotic curiosities, compete for your attention amidst the vibrant tapestry of bustling market stalls. The aroma that wafts through the air are a heady blend of tantalizing fragrances, a feast for the senses. Savory spices mingle with the sweet scent of freshly baked pastries, while the sizzle of street food beckons you closer, its mouth-watering allure impossible to resist. Colorful banners flutter above all through the sky, proudly displaying the emblems of revered guilds and renowned establishments. The buildings themselves tell stories of ages past, their facades adorned with intricate carvings and whimsical flourishes that hint at the secrets they hold within. With every step, you find yourself immersed in the heartbeat of a city teeming with life. It's a place where dreams are woven into reality, where fortunes are made and lost, and where legends are whispered in hushed tones over drinks in dimly lit taverns. Royal City, a vibrant mosaic of chaos and possibility, welcomes you with open arms and invites you to partake in its ever unfolding tale. Welcome to Royal City. Lumidaar. And if I mispronounce your names, this is session 1, so if I mispronounce your character name, it's going to keep happening. But yeah, just correct me. Lumidaar, you find yourself fully immersed in a borrowed workshop, a sanctuary of metal, magic, and invention. The forge crackles with an otherworldly heat, casting flickering shadows upon the walls adorned with tools of your craft. The rhythmic clanging of hammer meeting metal resonates through the air, echoing with your dragonborn heart. As the armor nears completion, a surge of satisfaction and anticipation courses through your veins. It's not just a suit of armor. It is a testament to your skill, a physical manifestation of your artistry and arcane prowess. Your heart swells with a mix of pride and eagerness to don this magnificent creation, to wield its power, and to protect those in need. Harold, you find yourself at this very moment immersed in your sacred duty. You're tending to those that are injured and infirm at a makeshift healing station just in the heart of a bustling marketplace. Your day begins as it always does. Wherever you go, with the rising sun casting its warm golden rays upon the city, you are there tending to people in need. You've dedicated your life to the service of others, and today is no different. As you set up your healing station, a humble collection of bandages, salves, and vials of blessed water, the aroma of medicinal herbs and soothing incense fills the air. The gentle murmur of healing chants intertwines with the lively chatter of the market, creating a symphony of hope and compassion. One by one, the wounded and weary come seeking solace in your care. They share their tales of suffering, of lives upended by tragedy and hardship. With each touch, each word, comfort and reassurance. You channel divine energy, invoking blessings of healing to mend their wounds and lift their spirits. The people you tend to come from all walks of life: farmers with calloused hands, merchants burdened by the weight of their livelihoods, and families seeking solace for their ailing loved ones. Their gratitude shines in their eyes as they receive your healing touch, and your heart swells with the fulfillment that comes from easing their suffering. Aseurius, you find yourself lurking in the shadows of an alleyway. Your keen lizard folk senses, attuned to the movements and activities of the cities. The crowded streets bustle with merchants and beggars, and all manner of folk going about their daily lives, oblivious to your watchful presence. Your reptilian eyes dart from figure to figure, observing the comings and goings, searching for any signs of trouble. As you meticulously survey the scene, shadows melding with your scales, your gaze falls upon another curious lizardfolk figure. Their demeanor evoking a sense of mischief and ill intent. This lizardfolk, clad in dark leathers and bearing a sly grin, moves through the crowd with grace that hints at their skill. Your instincts flare, recognizing trouble brewing ahead. Intrigued and compelled to intervene, you track the rogue lizardfolk's movements, silently tailing them through the bustling streets. Their nimble fingers deftly pick pockets, their silver tongues spinning tales to distract unsuspecting victims. The rogues' actions leave a trail of disgruntled merchants and bewildered passerbys in their wake. Determined to prevent further harm, you stealthily close the distance, your agile lizardfolk form weaving through the crowds with ease, and just as you prepare to confront the rogue, we move to another alleyway. Now, Emperor, you have to correct me on the name here. Is it Xyvyr? Xyvyr, okay. In yet another alleyway, Xyvyr, you move effortlessly through this dimly lit alley of Royale City that stretch before you as you move with careful steps, your presence veiled by the shadows. Being on the run has become a way of life for you, a constant dance with danger. Your eyes dart around, scanning the faces of passing strangers, your instincts always on high alert. As you traverse the dimly lit alleyways, your senses attuned to the subtle shifts in the magical currents that weave through the air, you become a fleeting phantom, your step leaving no trace behind. Like a shadow on the periphery, you observe the denizens of Royale City, their lives unfolding in a tapestry of mundane activities and hidden secrets. Your eyes, alight with curiosity and a touch of caution, scan the crowds, ever vigilant for signs of danger or opportunity. The city's bustling marketplace provides a feast for the senses. With vibrant stalls teeming with exotic wares, merchants haggling over prices, and the melodic calls of street performers filling the air. At times, you find yourself drawn to the discreet conversations held in back alleys and hidden corners, snippets of information exchanged in hushed tones. Your ears finally attuned to the nuances of speech, catch fragments of rumors and whispers, each one a potential clue to the secrets that you seek. So you all here are moving through Royale City, living very different lives, all doing your very own thing. But Lumidaar, as you are putting the final touches on this beautiful piece of work, as you begin to look upon the finished piece of art, how do you feel looking at this work that you've just done, that you've just created?
So he's alone in the in this workshop, and as he strikes kind of the final couple of blows, he holds it's just like a probably like a gauntlet piece, right, that he's finished up. And he just kind of holds it up and he looks at it in the light with a big toothy grin, and just kind of smiles and I guess just a little bit to himself, kind of jokingly, just like, yes, my masterpiece. And he just kind of fits it on.
Nice.
That's all.
And as you you push your arm in and it kind of locks in place, and it fits you perfectly. And then out of the corner, you hear from the back of the room a shattering, a deafening crash as the workshop door flies open. The echoes that jolts you out of your focused trance, looking down at this beautiful piece of armor you just created, leaving you disoriented and vulnerable. Your eyes widen with surprise and confusion as a squadron of city guards barges in, their armor clanking and glinting in the forge's flickering light. Their gaze immediately locks in on you. and they begin to approach. They come in and immediately surround you. And two of the guards immediately walk in and clinch down shackles upon your wrists.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, they're not pulling any punches. And as they come in, you are immediately confused as to what's going on. As to why are they arresting you? What crime have you committed? What wrongs have you done?
Hold on a minute.
And the lead guard, as he closes down these shackles, he is a tall, taller than a normal human, but still very human-like. As he looks at you, he says in a deep tone, "Razak Fang Blackthorn, you're under arrest for your crimes against the city. Your reign of thievery ends here."
Did you say Razak? That's not. My name is Lumidaar. I'm not from here. I literally just got into town. I don't know what's happening.
He says, "I've read you your rights."
No, you haven't. You've read me the wrong name.
Tell your story to the District Warden. And we'll pan to our good friend Harold, who is, Harold, as you are there and you are doing your duties, you are healing and you are making lives better. You similarly are abruptly interrupted as you hear the heavy thud of armored boots that reverberates through
I'll
space.
get you.
As a group of city guards storms in, their eyes scanning the area with a mix of urgency and suspicion. Their attention swiftly zeroes in on you, and before you can comprehend what is happening, they approach you with a stern expression. "Alicia," whispers Silverthorn. "By the order of the city guard, you are under arrest." One of the guards declares, his voice firm and unwavering. And as confusion washes over you, he similarly clasps shackles on your wrists. The people around you that you are healing, that have watched all these wonderful things you have done, they are drawn back in confusion as to what's happening.
Okay, I'm not the only one that doesn't know what's going on. What was the name you gave? What was the name? What do you call me? I'm Hal.
You
can discuss it with the District Warden. And they kind of drag you out. Probably not as forcefully as they handled Lumidaar, but they do drag you out. And you can hear the murmurs going around, like, "What are they doing? Why are they taking him? He's such a good guy. He wouldn't do something like this."
He touched me, and he healed me.
All those things.
Thank you for adding us that part.
Aseurius, as you are covering great distance, stealthily watching this other lizard folk, as you're moving in to confront him, a group of city guards suddenly bursts onto the scene, their armor glinting in the sunlight. Their eyes dart from side to side, looking for the thief that they had been told about. In the midst of the confusion, the city guard's eyes lock onto you, a similar lizard folk. Mistaking your presence and intention, their gazes fixate upon you. Before you can react or offer any explanation, they swiftly move towards you, surrounding you with an unyielding presence. "Voren Swiftwind, by order of the city guard, you are under arrest," one of the guards declares as he reaches over and clasps shackles onto you. And in this moment, your reptilian heart skips a beat as you realize the grave mistake that has been made. Your attempts to protest, to explain the mix-up, to explain you have no idea who he's talking about, they are ignored as he says to you, "You can take it up with the District Warden. I have my orders." And he drags you away. Xyvyr. Xyvyr, is that right?
Yep.
District Warden, Xyvyr to you.
Now there's a twist I forgot to write. Oh yeah. we just gave Emperor all the power here. Yes.
That's a scary thought.
That is. As you are moving and catching just hints and whispers, always on the lookout for secrets and tales to be told. And as you're just listening into a conversation an alley away, something that a normal person would not even have been able to hear, you prepare to move into a diagonal alleyway to get a better understanding, to hear more of the secret that's being told, because it just seems to resonate inside of you. But as you take the step out of the alleyway, the world around you shudders with a sudden surge of arcane energy. Webs of anti-magic energy descend upon you like a spectral net, its tendrils draining the very essence of your sorceress powers. The once familiar hum of arcane energy that resonates within you is replaced by a void that threatens to engulf your senses. And then the city guard descends from a neighboring rooftop. Their eyes light with false triumph. You find yourself caught in their trap, both physically and magically. Zephyr, Stormrider, you are under arrest for your crimes against the city.
This be my lot, so be it.
Can I change my character to Zephyr Stormrider, please?
And you are shackled and taken away. Each of you has a very similar trip as you move through the streets, as the guard walks you completely surrounded on every side. For some of you that are, not as renowned, this actually feels kind of fancy. Like, it feels a little bit like overkill as they're dragging you and they've got 12 guards on like all sides. You look like a hardened criminal right now. And for some of you, you hate that feeling. But you are marched through the city streets, all eyes looking upon you. They're watching as the guards are dragging you away until you get to the prison. As you Yo, Arcadis, how's it going, founder? Nice. I'm glad to hear it. Watching On Alchemy, that's cool. So, you are all taken to Ironhold Penitentiary. Lumidaar, you... It's the pit. Lumidaar, you arrive first, and you're thrown into a cell, all by yourself. A cell that is empty and old and dusty, with kind of hay beds laying around, and you stand there, kind of holding the bars as the door's locked in behind you. Honestly, still shocked and confused about what's happened. Now, over the next 2.5 hours, 3 other strange individuals join you. And so as we look around the cell, what do we see? So Spurg, why don't you tell us about Harold?
I'm sorry, is it Harold or Harald?
Harold.
Okay.
Or Al.
Just make sure.
There's a few different names I go by. Different nicknames from different people. But I'm let's see, how tall do I make myself? What kind of dimensions do I have? Yes, I'm middle-aged, about a little over 3 foot tall, skinny halfling, a couple inches of hair that just won't behave, and a beard that's just a couple inches long but entirely devoid of mustache, and wearing some vestments that are red and yellow, just coming from my healing work, and not sure what I'm doing here, and definitely didn't have time to change into something more more fitting. I don't belong here.
Something more prison fitting.
At least, like, this is kind of a dirty place. I like to keep my clothes clean. All right.
Yeah, you all are in whatever you had on prior. Lumidaar, they did not take your armor. You're still in your armor. Any weapons you had, they have been taken, but you all can see them just outside of the cell.
Nice. North.
Okay. Lumidaar, as they look around and they see this dragonborn there, what do they see?
They see a very not happy about the situation. 6 foot, 7-ish, emerald colored dragonborn. Is wearing kind of like a matte gray colored armor, sort of. It's not shiny or anything because I didn't have time to polish it before they arrested me. But so he's just kind of pacing around, and every time a different guard comes to the cage there to throw somebody else in, he grabs a hold of the bars and bangs them. It's like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. You got to let me out of here. And so he's pretty upset. Every time somebody new comes in, he doesn't glare at him, but he kind of looks at him suspiciously, and his nostrils flare just a little bit every time somebody looks at him funny. And he looks at the little guy who came in. He says, you could have dressed a little nicer. And he goes and sits back down on the bed and just kind of stomps over and smashes the ground whenever he or the bed or whenever he sits down with his gauntlet. He's kind of young, he's youngish. I forgot to check what the age range on Dragonborns are, but he's he's just got done with an apprenticeship, so he's still pretty fiery, still pretty young, kind of emotional. So he doesn't hide it well, because he's from a family of barbarians. So
nice. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. And as these two are there, you see Xyvyr walk in. Xyvyr, what do they see when you get ushered into the cell?
You see a 5'5" tall figure with coal black eyes, midnight black skin, very pitch dark, tattered, threadbare robes. Looks very skinny, like he hasn't had a good meal in years, but not emaciated. Kind of middle-aged towards the later end of his life. And he's just very quiet, almost like he's just accepted the situation. And also there's a black shadowy mist, a thin black shadowy mist that floats around him.
You remind me of someone that I used to know. I don't know. It was a long time ago. His name was Diespire, I think. I don't know.
It actually hasn't happened yet.
It's a time warp thing.
It could have, actually.
It's a time warp
It's
thing.
true. So, as you three are here and all kind of probably still being a little bit standoffish toward each other because you each believe you are innocent and you're in a cell of criminals. And then our final four.
That big guy over there isn't giving me a whole lot of confidence in his innocence.
That's fair. But Aseurius, as you get ushered into the cell, what do they see?
So just you see a 6 foot tall, slender but muscular lizard folk,
How muscular?
like toned but skinny.
Are you as muscular as Lumidaar? We are not the same, lizard man.
He's kind of got he's got a crown of thorns kind of go down his brow and stuff on his head, and then you can see a triple crest that kind of goes down. It's lying flat currently, but it runs down from his head down his back. I don't know how far down his back because he's wearing leather, sleeveless leather armor. but his scales are an iridescent purple that shifts to red depending on the way you look at him. He's got piercing green eyes that you can swear were glowing.
And as Aseurius gets pushed in, the guard that pushes him in is a stout dwarf, and he pushes him in, and he just kind of turns around, like he steps out far enough away that he can't be reached, but he's between like the cell and the hallway, and he actually doesn't leave. He just stays right there, knowing you all are in the cell.
That is my actual name, Arcades. My actual real name. But it's a
That
good
is
show.
his actual name.
Good show.
Yeah. He's one of the Grimm brothers.
Yeah.
So, as you all are in the cell, it's just the four of you here. The guard is still standing just outside, but within earshot, he could always turn around and see you guys. Doesn't seem to have any intention of moving. What are you guys doing?
Whenever he closes the gate and starts to walk away, I've got a hold of one of the bars. I just kind of growl at him like, "What? You need to tell us what we're doing here."
Calm down, Dragonborn. It's your first time.
Very first time, yeah. First time in the city, and I get arrested. What is this nonsense?
That makes sense for someone like you.
Someone like me, I turn and look and I'm like, your eyes are awful shiny, lizard. He just points it out. There's nothing else there. He just points it out. My mama said not to trust somebody with shiny
my point
eyes.
is proven, considering that's.
Yeah, and as you guys kind of bicker back and forth, at the insult, he just kind of leans over, and kind of tilts his head and listens. But as you guys don't rouse each other up any more than that, he just turns back and relaxes as much as he can, and he stands there, and you all are in this cell alone as an hour passes.
Not alone. We got each other.
Well, you got each other. Yeah, the four of you are in this cell.
I'm like, look over the lizard again. I'm like, you know what? You're awful flippant for how serious a situation this is. Yes. This is a serious situation. And we're going to have lots of serious situations in the future. I cannot wait for our serious situation.
Anyone wondering?
Charisma, my boy, is not your strong suit.
I have not had enough coffee for this.
Okay, break the game for just a second. If you guys are you guys able to? Do you guys get the NPC tab? Sorry, I'm
yes,
really
we
a player view.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see the guards that are there, right?
Yep.
Captain Roderick Stonehelm.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious about that. All right. D2, C2. Oh, nice. Okay. This is literally my first time using alchemy, Arcadis. So, actually, White Fox, who was here just a few minutes ago, he's the one who recommended it to me. So, yeah. I was curious what you guys could see. So, at this point, he is just letting you bicker, and within the last 30 minutes or so, a female elf guard has kind of came in, and they are just on either side of the hallway, the only way in and out of the cell area. They're standing there, and you can kind of hear them whispering at each other, but they clearly don't want you to hear what they're saying. Is anyone trying to hear what they're saying?
Sure.
I'm too busy growling.
You're just growling. Okay.
I have retreated to the darkest corner of the cell and am just sitting there, resigned to my fate.
I have
Yeah, I'm
tripped
kind
over
of-
Xyvyr several times while
What do you want me
pacing back and
to
forth.
roll for that?
Yeah. So give me a perception check.
I'm kind of just watching him expectantly, waiting to be, hoping to be taken to the warden,
8.
but not trying to listen.
Only
Yeah.
got an 8.
You got an 8?
Yep.
Ooh, first roll of the campaign. Not getting off to a great start. And so, as you listen in, like you're really kind of pushing up over there and listening, but out of your other ear, all you hear is this dragonborn breathing heavy and
Nope.
growling. And so between the two, you're having a tough time understanding what they're saying. You heard Shadow Fangs and this leader, and that's about all you could really make out of what they're saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a chance to talk to the warden sometime, right? When do you think that might be?
The captain turns around, who's the sturdy dwarf, which as he turns around, I have an appearance for you. He's a burly dwarf with a grizzled beard, stern features. He wears a very polished suit of chainmail armor. Actually, Lumidaar, you would probably respect him a little bit because of how polished and clean his armor is. It has the symbol of the city guard emblazoned on it, which is just a golden crown set against a deep blue backdrop. His eyes just carry a sense of authority and presence. And so, as you ask him this question, he says, "You're in a pretty big hurry to meet your fate, aren't you, boy?"
I'm hoping to clear things up. When I was arrested, you guys called me by something that is not by my name. So I think you got the wrong guy here.
Oh, case
So,
of
if you just
mistaken
wanna clear that
identity, huh?
Yeah,
Sure.
seems to be.
My understanding is you are a trickster and a master of deception anyway, so that's exactly what I'd expect.
No, that's not quite my skill set.
All right, Whisper.
I can't believe you saw through your guys there. Harold.
Yeah.
What guys?
Yeah, exactly.
The female elf at this point, she turns around, trying to be more understanding, trying to play the good cop to his bad cop, and she turns around, has long, like kind of blonde, almost white, flowing hair, with a real athletic build. She wears a sleek leather outfit, but adorned with that same city guard insignia. And as she quickly turns, you can see her eyes, like those of you that are dexterous, you can see her eyes have kind of scanned the whole area before she speaks for the first time. And as she speaks, she says, "If there is a case of misunderstanding, then our district warden will settle it. He'll be here shortly."
All
And
right, then.
you just hear the
Hopefully
captain
that's
say,
soon.
"Sorry, what was that word?"
Classic.
Hopefully that's soon.
Well,
It's not going to be soon.
he's not known for his
Don't
punctuality.
think
He's
so.
quite a busy man. What she means to say is he's got no time for low-life scums like yourself.
I see we have a classic case of good inquisitor, bad guard.
I feel like there's been
Sure.
a serious mix-up.
And at this, she walks back over, takes her position, and continues staying there. You can kind of see them whispering. You're able to make out a little bit more of what they're saying at this point, and it's nothing pertaining to you. It's really more about a banquet that's coming up, and who Evelyn's planning to go with and such. It's not of particular value. As you all spend the next few hours in this cell, do you exchange pleasantries, or
They talk about a banquet for a few hours?
she could talk a while? It's really
So-
more Evelyn talking, a lot less
Yeah.
Captain Stonehelm.
Lumidaar scans the group here. Sees the little shadowy guy sitting in the corner, and then just the regular little guy sitting over there, and then the lizard guy over here. And he walks over and he actually just sticks his hand out to the lizard guy and he says, "All right, well, it seems like we're going to be here a while. My name's Lumidaar. Not from around here, in case it wasn't obvious, but I think maybe we ought to at least get to know each other if we're going to try to figure out how to get out of this situation. And I don't know about those other two. They look kind of puny."
I just take his hand and just say, Aseurius.
Serious. Lumidaar shakes his hand and says, "It's not as slimy as I thought it would be. That's awesome."
Well, at least it's not as dried out as I was expecting, so.
No. We're off to a good start, though. Do you know anything
What's
about these two? Or what's going on here?
Never seen them in my life.
I've never seen anybody in this entire city in my entire life. I literally just got here. And he yells at
And then
to
you
the
guys look
guards.
familiar.
He yells out to the guards like, "We just got into town. I don't know what's happening."
Sure you
It tends to happen in big cities. The guards like to get a little trigger happy, to say the least.
What?
No, you're good. Do your thing.
Okay.
I was going to say
and-
something stupid. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. So after what seems like forever, and it's probably been about 6 hours.
So enough time for me to take a short rest then.
Yeah, that's enough time for a short rest.
All right, I'll take a short rest.
I think for any of you, it'd be time for a maybe. Okay, so
I
you
spend most of
see-
the time just kind of sitting meditatively, praying, just sitting on my own, just praying for assistance to clarify the situation.
All right, Liam convinced me. I'll make it a long rest.
yeah. Let's say
And I'm
you
just sitting there
can get a
wondering,
long
it's
rest
like,
and-
can I possibly drape my hands over the lock stealthily enough to take it?
you could try. I would.
I'm just contemplating that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if any of your these tools were in an obvious
these
place,
tools.
they would have been taken from you. Now, if you had them hidden somewhere, you would still have them on. They didn't search you that well.
So as Lumidaar kind of paces around a little bit, every now and then you guys hear this kind of soft click, like in his armor. It's like click, and then a very faint kind of like hum for just a sec, and then another click, and then like he's fiddling with it and it's doing something, but it's just like click, and then it's off. And he's not even really doing it consciously. You can tell it's like he's just kind of, as he's pacing around, just sometimes he growls while it happens. You just kind of hear that occasionally.
I'd be careful fiddling with that. If they hear something, they might go a little ballistic.
What are you talking about?
Your armor.
My arm. Oh.
Looks expensive.
Well, thank you. I made it myself. I need a chance to polish it, though, yet. Hey, Captain...
It looks pretty good, though.
Hey, Captain Roderick Shorthelm. Little guy.
Stonehelm.
Stonehelm. That's right. You would happen to to have a polishing kit in there, would you? Just to pass the time. One fine armor-wearing man to another fine armor-wearing man. Got nothing else.
Give me a persuasion check.
Polish it up.
Give me a persuasion.
Does it help if I say he is fine, not his armor?
Doesn't. That probably makes it worse.
Oh, it's not gonna be anyway. Ooh, 18
18.
with a -1. Got the 18.
Oh, nice. And so he, as you mention polishing your armor, he kind of perks up just a little bit, and he looks back there at you, and you hear him stomp off down the hallway, and Evelyn looks down, just honestly kind of confused too as to where he's going, and you hear a door shut. A couple minutes later, you hear a door open. He walks back in, and he hands you a small metal screw top container of wax and a polishing towel. And he just hands it through the bars. He's like, "It's just cause that armor deserves a lot better."
Yeah, I was in the process of finishing it when the goon squad came in, so appreciate it. So he just goes, "Let's go start polishing."
Yeah.
Like that, basically. Like he's narrowing his body, but it's armor that he's polishing.
Right. Okay. And yeah, as you're polishing his armor. So as this big dragonborn is over here polishing his armor, what is everyone else doing? We're about 5 hours into this cell, just sitting here.
I'm in my long rest, so I'm sleeping.
Okay. All right.
Well, now I'm kind of self-consciously, like I've got my, just a little bit of armor under my vestments, so I kind of, look at my, the armored shoulder under the vestments, and it's like, I should probably do that at some point too.
You got to take care of your armor, little fella.
Yeah.
Could quite
I
literally
take better care of this.
save your life one day.
And all right, Aseurius,
Well,
what do you got
fortunately,
going
I don't
on?
need it very often.
David?
Well, I'm just basically just sitting there, just going like thinking. It's like all the different ways I could possibly get out. Just silently.
So what are you guys here for anyway? Like, I don't know why I'm here. They seem to have the wrong person. Not saying you guys deserve to be here or not.
He says that, and I look up at him, and I look over at Aseurius, and I'm like, why is he assuming that we're guilty? What's that about?
I'm not assuming, just whether or not it's deserved. You guys were brought here for a reason, just like mine. I'm apparently here for a reason, just not the right one.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
they came out
personally,
wrong.
I won a contest. It was spend a day in jail, just for the fun of it, and I won. So here I am.
Well, we know it. We will not go without
Okay.
humor while we're here.
That.
All right, and
I have no idea why I'm here. Harold.
You can call me Hal.
No, I can't.
Okay.
all right, and yeah. So as you guys you're kind of having this super awkward conversation with each other. Everyone kind of believing everyone else is guilty, but knowing that they're innocent. Finally, you see as Captain Stonehelm turns and he looks, and just as soon as he looks, you hear the door open, and you hear slow, methodical steps as they're coming down the hallway. And this figure turns the corner, and as he does, you see that both Captain Stonehelm and Sergeant Swift Arrow, they both kind of bow, just almost a little like half bows. He walks past them, and you see a Githzeri with this lean, wiry physique. His movements as he turns the corner are very calculated and precise. He stands average height, but has a shaved head that has intricate arcane tattoos covering his scalp, going as far as you can tell down his neck. Sharp eyes that seem to just hold an immense depth of knowledge. He wears a flowing, almost monk-like robe. It's adorned with similar symbols as to what he has tattooed. And as he turns the corner and he looks at you, says, so this is the shadow things that we've heard so much about. Not as imposing as I understood it.
The who?
The shadow things. No need to be humble. We have you now. You are.
Look, are you guys shadow things?
I look at Xyvyr, I'm like, he's kind of shadowy, but other than that.
Are you not Razak Fang Blackthorn? He looks at you, Lumidaar.
What? No, I'm not. I'm not that person.
Gods, what do you think? These are the notorious bandits we've been warned about and looking for? Honestly, boss, I don't know. Evelyn kind of speaks up. Also, it's hard to tell. They seem very trusting. And truthfully, most don't that come in here. Well, then this puts us at an impasse, doesn't it?
Not really. We're all innocent.
Sure. Guards, if you would, allow me to talk to the prisoners for but a few moments. Captains, sure. And Evelyn just kind of nods as they turn and walk out, and you hear their steps kind of hurriedly down the hallway as they close the door behind them. And he looks over. You notice that when he speaks, he's very slow to speak. As you can tell a million thoughts are going through his mind before he lets out a word. I do realize it's quite likely you are not who we thought you were. However, that can't be certain. So, what do we do from here? It is quite a victory for the district if we celebrate the capture of hardened criminals that have the public fearful.
Well, at least until the bandits strike again. Yeah, that might kind of be embarrassing.
I'm sorry, do you not know what these bandits look like? Or do they look exactly like us?
He just immediately off the top of his head, he says, Razak Fang Blackthorn, Jim Dragonborn, 6'7", sleek scales, known for being incredibly cunning and very brute. You fit the description quite well. Alicia Whisper Silverthorn is a halfling, trickster, master of deception, known all around for impersonating members of authority or members of trust, much like clerics. People happen to trust people who can heal them. Vorin Scaleblade Swiftwind, a 6-foot lizardfolk warrior who is incredible with a rapier and is quite the formidable opponent, is my understanding. Zephyr Mistral Stormrider is a Silmatar, and there's not many Silmatar around here. A sorceress whose magic is feared all around. So, yes, we are quite familiar with what you look like.
Did you just say sorceress?
That is our guess at this point. It has been unclear
Well,
of
I'm not sure if you're aware, but
their gender.
they're definitely. That man over there is definitely not female.
Well, perhaps
Are
our
you
intel
sure?
was wrong. That is quite possible. There are a lot of idiots around.
Yes.
I, however,
Possible
am
your intel is wrong.
Also, did
No.
you confiscate a rapier from me?
No, we did not. And so, I will admit, I know you are not the Shadowfangs. I knew that from the moment I walked in, and this one's fearful expression. He points at you, Lumidaar. Yes, you hide it
Never
well.
seen
You
it.
truly do. And he says, however, I find myself at an impasse because I had a special need of the Shadowfangs. And well, they are not here, and you are. And so, let me offer to you a partnership, if you will. I am a District Warden of Royal City, quite an important figure. It is a very good thing for me to be in your debt. And so, if you would be willing to retrieve a simple object for me, I could grant you freedom and gold and lodging while you remain here in Royal City. That is the offer. How does that sound?
Sounds like
speechless.
Well,
blackmail to me, but
Blackmail.
I don't see any other options at this time.
That's nasty.
I don't. Not blackmail. I believe the word you're looking for is extortion, Aseurius.
Well, I am a politician after all. It's not extortion. It's simply I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
I have a very large back.
Don't
Indeed
see
you do.
why scratching your back would be necessary at this moment, but
Because if I don't grant your freedom, they will very likely execute you. Now, I don't wish for that to happen. I feel like execution is quite an unnecessary way to handle crime, but that is the custom until we can change it.
but you know we're not the Shadowfangs. You wouldn't let
Indeed.
this happen anyway, though, would you?
Let what happen?
Execution?
Oh, no, again, I had need of the Shadowfangs, but they are not here, and you are. And I my eyes do not deceive me. You seem to be a quite capable group. I mean, look at the polished armor on this one, as he points to Lumidaar. And
It does look good now.
our scimitar, is almost invisible to the naked eye in the shadow. You seem quite ready for this. So either way, my offer stands. I will return in a 10 day, and then we will discuss it further.
In a what day? I'm sorry. A what day?
pretty sure he
A
said
10
10.
day. Yes, I have dealings over in Ravenswood.
You know what? I'm in.
Well,
One taker.
yeah. I thought, if you just asked, I might have been willing to help anyway. But
I did ask.
I guess in the position we're in, sure.
Excellent. That is 2.
Well, I don't normally work for free, but
Oh, who said
I
free?
guess there's
I will
sort of
compensate you
payment here.
greatly.
Working for freedom. Dumb da dumb.
I will compensate you greatly. I am I'm honorable, to my word. And Silmatar, are you in as well? Did anyone catch that?
I think that's his thinking face.
Well, while he thinks about that, I believe I'm going to go pour myself a spot of tea.
Can we come with you if we've agreed?
Well, it seems odd if I don't bring you all out. Doesn't it?
Not really.
So, if Simultan nods, give me a nod, sir, and we will exit this building.
Yes.
Yes, the aged grunt I will take as a yes.
I saw him. He
and-
nodded. Look, he nodded.
He thought about nodding.
You consider that he might be sleeping.
Or deaf.
A closer look. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'll just pick him up and bring him with us.
All right. And he says, all right then. I believe we can trust each other then. Might I add just an air of, I don't like the term, but I must use it, I suppose, an air of warning. I'm about to free you, and you may think that there is no need to obey. You can just leave Royal City and you'll be safe. You will not be. That's all. I don't like threats. Threats are unnecessary between businessmen and politicians. So I
Quite sure,
believe
though.
that we have an understanding. Yes.
What happens if we find the bandits for you?
Yes, that seems like too many hands in the cookie jar. Yeah, you know what I mean. If I have you four and then those four, I don't really need 8 people, and I don't need y'all running off knowing all the details of what I'm sending you to do if you're not doing it. I would prefer, at this point, to just work alongside you, and if we capture the bandits, we will make sure justice is served. This seems like a superior option. Excellent. Now, that spot of tea.
I like tea.
All right. And he
he's
just
pretty good.
Guards. And finally, they kind of come walking around the corner, and
His heels.
the captain comes around first, and
Oh, there you are.
weird.
You
Sorry,
froze.
hold on. I forgot to make Galith visible for you guys. He has a picture.
Oh, we lost Squirk too.
It's because he got replaced with
Weird. Okay. We're still learning. All right, here we
the other
go.
one.
There we go. And so, this is the District Warden, and he did say, by the way, name is District Warden Galith Darkstar. It'll be a pleasure working alongside you. And at this point, you see the guards come in, led by Captain Roderick Stonehelm, and Galith looks over at him. He says, free these men. They are indeed innocent. You've really got to talk to your men, Captain Roderick. They completely made a mistake. Go and free them. I'm going to take them out for a spot of tea and show them the city. They're all new here. Did you know that? Captain Roderick, he says, you say so, boss. He comes over.
So I hand him the
To be
polishing
fair, it
stuff.
does sound like the other. Oh yeah. It does sound like the guys you're looking for do look a lot like us. So, I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I
they
kind
Well,
of
look a lot like you.
You guys hear
All right.
joints crack as Xyvyr rises.
Wait, say it again.
They all hear the sound of joints cracking as Xyvyr rises.
Okay. And yeah,
Oh, look,
Captain
it is
Stonehelm
alive.
reaches out, unlocks the door, and the door kind of swings open. You are all free to walk out. Captain Stonehelm just grunts. But Sergeant Swift Arrow, she says, "Oh, you are all free to acquire your weapons on your way out. We ask you immediately sheath them, or just please don't wield them within the jail."
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
And Galith looks at all you and he says, if you would, if you wouldn't mind, just accompany with me, and we'll go get some tea and just talk over the details. How does that sound? Excellent. Quite the
sounds
lively
better than
bunch.
the alternative.
Indeed, it does. And he gives Roderick a pat on the shoulder, and like he's got to kind of like reach down, but you hear like a thud as he pats him, and he walks on out, and he leads you all back out into Royale City. You guys are now on west side of Royale City. So the city itself is kind of split into two divisions, as there's a river that runs directly through it. And the eastern side is the nobility side. That's where the big casinos and all the money and performances and things are. The west side, the west side is more the working class. This is the working class. This is where like the taverns are, and there's still some casinos and things of the sort, and this is where of course the jail is. And so you all are led out of the jail, and as you come out, the light that was like just kind of blazing on you as the events of the morning took place, it is kind of faded down. It's kind of casting a nice golden light over the city, and you can hear even from this point, you can hear kind of the rustle and bustle taking place of the local taverns and casinos and areas, and you can hear a lute kind of playing somewhere off in the distance. And you walk out, and Galith looks at you and he says, right this way. I'll take you over to one of my favorite locations, the Golden Galleon. And
sounds fancy.
It's less fancy than you might think. But if you have any gold to burn and you like to gamble, it's a good place. I've lost way too much money at the blackjack tables. Anyway, he kind of leads you down the roads, and you can tell that like he's a district warden, but it doesn't like fully separate him from the people. As like he's kind of walking, you see some people kind of like waving at him, but you do notice that as you're following along kind of behind him, that he has a little bit of a limp as he walks, and he leads you kind of down the road a block or two, and you pass buildings and some houses and some people are still working, and most people are finished up for the day, as he leads you to a kind of rusticy tavern casino that is created to kind of replicate a ship, and so the outside is kind of shaped like a ship, and then you see a sign there that is kind of nice letters, like a nice serif font that says the Golden Galleon, and he leads you on in. It leads you on in to the Golden Galleon, and at this point we will actually pause for just a moment. We'll take a break, and then we'll continue the events of the evening.
While we're walking down there, could I do a perception check to see if I see any potential threats from My
Yeah,
person.
absolutely. Roll that perception. Yo, Mike, thank you so much for that sub. By the way, one of the special table rules we have here is any sub gets to give advantage to any player or DM. And so you can pick anyone in the line here and give them advantage for when they need it. Like that perception check, Xyvyr might need. Oh,
I just rolled a d20.
Aseurius just nat 20s here.
Makes sense.
Xyvyr, you are, as you're kind of being hurried down the road, you are completely out of your element because you're following along in this group of people, which is already unusual to you. But you're also like following along out in like the middle of the streets. Like you're not in the alleys hiding. You're not in the shadows. You're like just out here in front of everyone, and so you're feeling self-conscious, and so you don't get to really like kind of look around because you're kind of keeping your head down a little bit, keeping it on a swivel, but you don't notice any danger. Now, Aseurius, what are you trying to do here? I mean, rope the moon you can if you want.
I was basically scoping around, see what's around us.
Okay.
Right. Advantages. Everything.
So yeah, as you are walking down, you look around and you are excellent at keeping your head on a swivel right now. Like you're scanning rooftops, your alleyways. You're looking around. You remember what you've seen prior to your arrest. You remember that shady like lizard folk that was running around kind of causing havoc. So you know that there's definitely danger in these streets. But as you look around, honestly, you don't see anything that appears to be dangerous. You do see that several people that are kind of waving and saying hi to Galith. Some of them seem to be waving and showing their niceties more out of necessity than desire. At that, you all make it to the Golden Galleon, and like I said, we'll pause for just a second. My wife has called a couple times, so I need to go see what she needed, and we'll give her one chance to get refreshments, run to the restroom, and we'll jump back in. And Mudkip, the offer stands. If you would like to give somebody inspiration, you can give it to any of the players, or if you're feeling nefarious, you can give it to the DM. That is completely up to you. With that said, I will step away for just a moment. You guys, hang out if you want to. But as you walk in, the Golden Galleon has, from the outside, it has it looks like almost like the front, the front of a big ship, and then you walk through the doors, and as you kind of walk in, two like double wooden doors open up, and you're immediately greeted with just straight up sense of alcohol. And as you walk in, you can hear cards being shuffled, you can hear dice kind of hitting a table, and you can hear a lot of chatter and things kind of going on. And as you walk in, there are honestly, this place is pretty full. Immediately behind the bar, there's actually two individuals back there. There is a female human bartender, and then there is a second female human bartender, and they're back there just like pouring drinks and slinging them across the bar. This place is happening, and you're possibly a little confused at why Galith brought you here of all places, but he says, "Oh, don't worry, right this way. They have a special room for us." And surely enough, he gets led to the back, kind of weaving around tables, and you see people kind of throwing dice and playing cards. You see some Texas Hold'em, you see some blackjack, you see plenty of things happening, plenty of drinking, and then they lead you all the way back to this room, and there's one guard kind of standing outside of the room, and they open the door.
Perception check, see if I see any threats in the to me in the casino.
Yeah, go for it.
There you go.
Yeah, so as you look around again, you're moving kind of quickly through here, and you're looking you're looking around, keeping your eyes on a swivel, and as you're passing, you're seeing table after table, people gambling, people drinking, and as you turn one corner, you just see out of the corner of your eye, kind of back at a table by themselves, you do see like a hooded figure that kind of glances up as you all walk by, but puts his head back down. Couldn't tell if you know him personally or anything of that sort, but did seem a little out of place. And with that, you all get led back into this room, and as he goes to walk in, one of the servers walks up and they just say to him, Mr. Darkstar, would you like a dealer in there with y'all? Oh, that won't be necessary today. Thank you very much. And she turns and kind of goes on her way. And
Do you notice
so
if she's afraid of him?
give me a perception check.
I would have been watching that interaction too.
19.
18.
Yeah, she is quite afraid of him. In fact, you see her scamper away very quickly. She came up and asked what he needed out of complete necessity, and then she left as quickly as she could. As to why she's afraid, you're not sure, but she definitely had a spirit of fear around her. And so you all are kind of led into this room, and Galith looks around and he says, "Oh, you can shut the door. We'll be in here for just a bit then." And he looks around and he's like, "Come on, have a seat." And there's a large card table, green felt, real nice, exquisitely made, gold lined around the outside in the wood. And he says, "Truth be told, the golden galleon is mine. Actually, I own it, and so this is why I decided to come here. We can always have privacy. There's a lot going on, but we can chat for a bit. And so before we get started, can I offer you anything free of charge, of course?"
I'll take just a drink of whatever is most expensive.
Fine taste, friend. Fine taste. You would like? Let's get you the Siren Song Sangria. How about that?
Sounds good.
Anything else? We have water. We have common ale. What was that?
I'll abstain for tonight.
You're missing out. I recommend the Mermaid's Kiss. It is to die for.
If you got some kind of lemonade, that sounds. I can go for a lemonade.
Water, lemon, and sugar, right? Any ale?
Yeah. Oh. Not this time.
All right. And he calls out, and you just hear him say, "Madeline!" And she kind of comes on in, and again she kind of quickly walks in, and she says, "Yes, sir. We would like a few drinks in here. My friend here wants the Siren Song, and he wants a lemonade with actually just lemonade. He just wants lemonade, and I will take the Stormy Seas, if you would." Yes, sir. And she quickly moves back out. The air she had about her before, she still has. And as she walks out, he says, "Well, I do appreciate you all accompanying me here, and I suppose we should get down to business then, eh?"
I suppose.
Excellent. Well, what I have need of is an heirloom of my family's has become missing. It's not become missing. It's been missing for some time, and I would very much like it returned to me. I have found out through arcane means as to the location of it, and I would simply like a good, strong, hearty party to recover it.
Hardy.
Hardy, yes. And he says, And then about this time, Madeline comes walking back in, drinks. She has a tray on her hand and drinks kind of around it. And even though she didn't want anything, she brought a glass of water for you. And she puts down the siren song in front of you. And as it hits the ground, it almost rings out as it kind of clanks on the table. It almost rings out in the sound of a song, a soft allure. And you have this kind of red, almost wavy drink in front of you. And she kind of sits down. The stormy seas cocktail down in front of him, and it's just it's like a I forgot the drink now. It's just it's a simple blue tonic, in kind of a fancy glass.
Coconut rum.
Yeah, exactly.
Got like little bit on top of it.
And the lemonade, of course, she kind of sits down in front of you, and she said, with the lemonade, I added 2 sugar cubes, but if you want more, I brought some. And she puts them kind of down in front of you, and she and she hands out water, and she's if that'll be all, sir. Yeah, Madeline, that's enough. Thank you. And she kind of hustles on out.
Before she goes out, can I make a telepathic link?
Sure.
So it's automatic. As long as I can see her, it's automatic.
Okay. Okay.
I just gotta roll a d6 to see how long it lasts.
Okay.
And also, what would I have to roll to see if my water is potentially poisoned?
It would last 6 hours. Don't need 6 hours.
Oh wow. Okay. So to see if your water is poisoned, roll an investigation unless you have a arcane means to do so.
I do not have an arcane means, so investigation. 17.
And as you you subtly pick it up and almost put it to your lip, not quite touch it to your lip, but you get a good whiff of it. It smells like water. You kind of give it a little stir just right here in front of your face. It moves like water, and at that point, you're familiar enough with poisons to know that this is most likely just water. Now your telepathic link.
So
what
I
happens
was
here?
basically it's two-way communication, but I'm basically going talking to her. So I was like, "Don't be alarmed." But
As soon as you say that, she
you're
drops
so
her
afraid.
tray. When she's turned around walking out, and you speak in her head, you're like, "Don't be alarmed," and she just drops her whole tray. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. I was suddenly alarmed, and
So-
she.
So I just say it's like I can still talk, but so clean up, leave the room, and we. It's good for up to.
And you hear her say out loud, "All right."
Just try not to say it out loud. In your head.
She's silent for a long time, and then she goes, "Okay, am I doing it?"
Do it out loud again.
No. She said this time she did say it silently, but she was trying to figure out
Okay.
if thinking it worked or if she had to do something else.
Okay. Okay. So, I'm assuming let me know when she's out. Then I'll just say.
Yeah. So now she's out of the room, and so she's responding to you, and she's asking is it working now?
Yes. It's I thought it best to privately ask, why is it that you're so afraid of her master?
I was about to say this is the strangest way I've ever been asked out. It was working for a moment. Which one are you?
Oh no!
Let's just keep that between us. Well,
She
not,
thinks it's Lumidaar, by the way. She definitely is hoping it's Lumidaar.
Sorry, what was your question before? I'm trying to get an order of drinks right now.
Why is it that you're so afraid? Sorry, what was his name again?
Galith.
So why are you so afraid?
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh. Why did that go? 11?
She says, afraid. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of him. His presence intimidates me. He's my boss after all, and you know, he's very quick to fire people.
Okay, very well. Leave it with that.
Yes, but be careful, will you?
And why is that?
Oh, I don't know much about his doings, and you hear, oh, excuse me. And I said that in my head. Excuse me. You hear her say it out loud. And just, I don't know much about his doings, but he does not do well with people who wrong him. Is what the rumors say.
And where do these rumors originate from?
Oh, this is a big city. Everybody's got secrets. And well, in my line of work, you hear things. All I know is when people wrong him, they are never seen again. Now, how this happens, there are many different rumors of the way that he gets rid of them, but they are gone nonetheless.
I think I see how he deals. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks for your cooperation.
Yeah, sure. So which one are you?
I just cut the link. She might be pretty, but she's just too desperate.
Too desperate. Yeah. You go for the guy that talks to you in your brain. That's not okay.
God forbid this life of fear.
Yeah, so
Aseurius is a sucker for a pretty face, but yeah, that's a little too much.
A little too over the top, huh?
Yeah.
and so Galith at this point, you know, he's not missed a beat. The drinks hit the table, and he's been kind of talking business. You can tell, like, even though his words are slow and methodical, he is quite to the point. He doesn't really, he doesn't skirt around the issue. He kind of wants to get to the point, get it dealt with, and move on. But he thinks about what he says prior to saying it. And he says, well, we're here and we have all that we need. Let's discuss the details of the job you'll be doing for me. Yes. As I said before our drinks came, I have a family heirloom that is missing, and I much desired it back. It belonged to my great grandfather, and it was meant to be my father's, and then mine, and of course I've received it because of the work of bandits. Anyway, it is very dear and precious. It is a glowing orb of sorts. It is a glowing orb contained into it was, you know, from the drawings that we have. And he puts one on the table and kind of slides it over in front of you. It should look like this, and it's has this gold. Assuming it hasn't already been scrapped for parts, either way, the orb itself is atop what I believe you may know the area. It is actually atop the Spinebreaker Mountains to the north. And you all would be familiar with the area, especially to the north. And those of you that adventure, and those of you that are familiar with the Lord's Renown, you know the north is relatively like inhabitable. It is very, very cold, and going up the mountains is, you know, the equivalent to our Everest here. So, and those of you that played in that one campaign with me are very familiar.
Prepare
And
for
so-
strength checks. Got it.
Yeah, we'll let you. We'll be a little more creative this time. And he just says,
We have a little more strength this time.
we do have strength this time. That's true.
Some
you
of
don't
us
have a fairy
do.
trying to carry you everywhere. But he says it is atop Spinebreaker Mountain, which is quite a journey, and so I trust you all are able to handle such a task.
How do you know it's there?
As I mentioned, through arcane means, we were able to find someone who had recently acquired and resold the object, and were able to grab something that it had touched, that a container that it had been in, and by that simple touch, we're able to create an arcane connection to it. And from there, I was able to build a tracker for it.
That makes sense. So my grandma always used to say that the honey only sticks to the mustache of he who eats it, right? So it makes a lot of sense to me that would work.
The honey's...
The honey, it sticks to the
honey.
mustache. Yeah.
Is the honey the orb in this situation?
Yes. If you lick the honey, you'll get sticky on your mustache. If you touch the orb, you'll get... It's probably somebody else's mustache, though, so it's not a big deal. But anyway, it makes sense to me how you found it. Ipso facto. It's in the Spine Mountain thing. We got it.
Spinebreaker Mountains, yes. Just on the other side of the Forsaken Caverns, and on up the Spinebreaker Mountains. I would expect for an experienced. Yes.
Did they just name these like whatever they wanted to, or is there like a reason that these things are named like Spinebreaker Mountain and what was it, Forsaken Cavern?
The naming, yes, I believe they all have legends tied to them as to where the names came from. The Forsaken Caverns, an adventuring party, much like yourselves. Ooh. He says, was lost there, and well, in fact, I believe there's more than one. There was about 18 that have went through there and have never been seen again. So, yes, that's how they got the name the Forsaken Caverns. And the Spinebreaker Mountains, it's quite clear. It's very rugged, very straight up, and if you fall, it's, if you will,
Okay.
like that. Yes.
All right.
Awesome. However, I suspect that this journey would take several weeks for an experienced adventuring troop. Where would you rate your skills on being an adventuring troop?
I mean, you keep saying troop like we know each other and we've worked together before.
Oh,
We
this
just met.
is
so-
like blind adventuring.
Yeah, something like that.
All
yeah.
right. So probably more than a couple weeks.
I don't know. The cleric over there looks a little soft.
This one.
Yeah, it sounds like a little bit of a challenge, but you've kind of put us in a bit of a pickle, so I'm up for trying.
Excellent.
I like your spirit. I like his spirit.
Well, that is very well and good. Then there's not a lot for me to do at this point. I would, I will start you off with a small bit of gold to get you started on your journey. And since you're not a group, I won't give you a large sum. I'll just give you each of you a smaller amount, and then you can expect, let's say, triple on when you return. And he hands you at this point he doesn't hand you anything, but he kind of yells out and he says, "Aaron!" And then this large Goliath that you actually hadn't seen when you came in, surprisingly, but you kind of hear him kind of stop and he kind of ducks to come under the doorway, but then he can stand up inside the room. It's tall ceilings. He says, "Aaron, can you pay these men? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he kind of reaches into his pack and he pulls out a very measured pouch of gold that he sits in front of each of you. And he actually gives you all 50 gold to start the adventure. And
50?
yeah, so you can all add 50 gold to your inventory. As he looks at you and he says, look, I wanted to make sure that this was not, as you said before, extortion. I'm a businessman, and I just want returned to me what is mine. And I'm willing to
family
pay well.
heirloom?
Yes.
How long was it in your family before it was taken?
Well, that's hard to
Ooh,
say exactly.
Is there anything fun about it? Anything special?
He thinks for a minute. I pay
I'm not
very
paying
well.
attention to this answer.
You what?
I'm
You are
paying attention to this answer.
Okay. He says,
I'm seeing if he's.
I pay
truthful or not.
very well for those who don't ask such questions.
Well,
Let's just say it means a
was-
lot to me.
Okay. Well, once we find it, I suppose we'll see if it. I'm sure at least look at the drawing. I'm sure at least looks pretty in person.
It should be.
So
Beautiful.
we'll try to get it back to you.
Excellent. And he says, Aaron, you're done here, sir. Thank you. Aaron says, okay, thank you. And he turns like almost forgets to duck, and then he the last second catches himself as he goes under the door, and he kind of closes it on his way out a little louder than necessary, and you can kind of see Galith just kind of squint as it slams. And Galith looks over at you all, and he says, I don't. I don't expect you to leave right at this moment, but I would hope that you would leave first thing in the morning. Time is quite precious to me. So you can have lodging here at the Golden Galleon. I'll make sure to that Madeline takes very good care of you and gets you the lodging you need. You're welcome to hit the casinos and perhaps make more gold out of what I gave you, or you can give it back, I suppose. That is up to you. Do you have any questions before I take my leave?
You make it sound like you own the casinos as well.
Not casinos. Casino. I own the Golden Galleon, and then I own its sister over in the east side.
The east side.
Yes. There's a Golden Galleon on each side, and while you are working for me, you are free to lodge at either one, free of charge.
I like it.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear then. And do you guys have anything you want to ask him or talk about before he leaves?
No. Seems like a heck of a guy, to be honest. Swell. Pays well.
And
This is good business, guys. This is good business.
And he kind of looks over all of you, and he stands up very methodically. You can tell that there's just a calculation in his eyes as he moves. And he says, "Well, if you don't mind me, I'm going to take my leave. Have a couple other business dealings to get to today, and well, then I'm going to call it a night, I do believe. But again, the casino is open all night, so enjoy."
Fantastic.
And he gets up and he walks to the door, and as he kind of opens the door, he kind of glances back over his shoulder at the party, and he looks around at you all, and he says, "I believe I've put this task in good hands." Then he turns and walks out, and he closes the door behind him. You four are there alone with your drinks still in front of you. What would you like to do?
Oh,
What time is it now?
So whenever you came in here, it was right at dusk, and so I would say time-wise, it was about 7 p.m. It is summer, so that gives you a little bit of hope as you head north, but it is summertime, and it's about 7 p.m., so the sun's setting kind of late, but it was setting. It is would be considered nighttime at this point.
So we're basically candlelit at this point.
He did tell you all you had lodging, and you guys are kind of treated as VIP guests at this point. So,
Have any of you ever been
This is a bit fancier than I'm used to.
to the north? Any of you guys ever traveled that way?
That's recent.
Well, not into the mountains. Not really. I suppose at the foot of the mountains once or twice.
I haven't been there in 70-some years.
How old are you?
Old enough to know better. Still young enough to make mistakes.
Oh, okay. That's
this feels so familiar.
Hopefully this isn't a mistake.
good. No.
Yeah, well, I suppose the bigger mistake. What?
If we don't leave soon, there will be more. There will be more.
More what?
More opportunities for mistakes.
Well, I'm gonna hit the hay if we're gonna hit up bright and early in the morning.
I agree.
We should
A
definitely
good idea.
put a plan together, though, right? I mean, we should definitely plan, right?
Well, I suppose there's probably some equipment we should grab.
I think it's best if we talk on the way. Many
I don't know.
prying ears.
Yes. Too many potential threats.
Oh, what
Are
kind of
we in the
equipment
same
should we grab?
room? Are we in the same place? What are we talking about? I guess.
Well, I can see why some people would be suspicious of the being surrounded by wealth and this. So some people definitely aren't used to it, and I can see understand some suspicion.
Suspicion. That's good, actually. That's good.
You are far too trusting.
I don't know about that. I see the wisdom in what you're saying. I understand. Yes.
People are cautious in places they're not used to.
This reminds me what my grandma always used to say. Another grandma, a nice fig is often full of worms, right? So, I think you're right. We should probably take it slow. Are they playing cards over there, though? I'm gonna go play cards. You guys do what you want. I'll see you in the morning. We're gonna put together a plan.
I should go grab the rest of my. I think I left some stuff behind when I was arrested. I should probably grab that before I go to bed. Assuming it's still there.
Yeah, I would definitely take care of your stuff,
Yeah.
Harold.
Okay, so
anybody want to go play cards?
Without a word, Without a word, Xyvyr just stands up and leaves the room.
That is one weird cat.
Yeah, it seems like you might have some history. This should be fun.
Like a lot of history. It's very old. It seems like.
Yeah.
At least as old as I am. Yeah, last time he was at the mountains. Sounds like about the time I was born.
Well, I'm gonna go play some.
70-year-old halfling.
I'm gonna go play some Texas Hold'em.
But did you say, Emperor? Did you say 70 or 7?
7.
This is 70.
Okay, yeah, and so I'm 72. I think I determined. So halflings live to like 150ish. So I'm right in the middle.
I don't think they call it 70-ish though. Don't they? They got like weird numbers.
Oh, the weirdness starts to happen over 100.
Oh, okay.
That's hobbits, not halflings.
One in the same.
We share a little bit of our quirks.
Okay. All right. So Xyvyr just kind of got up and left. Lumidaar, is that right?
Yeah.
Did I butcher it? Lumidaar, you're going to play some cards. What's Aseurius and what's Harold doing? Harold, you're going to retrieve your things, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I said I was just gonna go to bed.
Oh, okay. All right. Aseurius, what were you doing?
I was just heading to bed for the night.
Oh, you're heading to bed. Okay, Harold, you're going to retrieve your things, right? Okay. So, Xyvyr and Aseurius, you guys head on to bed. Harold and Lumidaar, you guys kind of walk out side by side. Quite the duo, as we have this 6'7" dragonborn and this halfling cleric kind of beside him.
I just said I left the room. I never said I went to bed.
Oh, okay. All right. So, well, you're kind of already out there. So, Xyvyr, what are you doing at this point?
I am actually leaving the establishment entirely and just disappearing into the dark city streets.
Excellent. Okay. That is what I would expect. Okay. And so, all right. So you're heading out. We'll start since you left first. Xyvyr, what are you doing as you head out of the establishment? You kind of enter out into the night that has kind of dawned upon the city. And there are torches burning all along the streets. The city itself is still pretty lit up, but the night sky is bright as above. The moon shines bright in the distance. What do you do as you walk out here?
Correct me if I'm right. The west side's kind of more run down, tumble home side of the city.
Yeah, it's more more for your common folk. It's not, the royalty and they're not going to find their way over. The big money is spent over on the east side, and it's decorated for such.
I'm gonna just disappear into the back alleys and kind of look around, see if I can hear it again. Any sign, hide or hair of any potential threats to my existence.
Okay. Yeah. So give me a perception check.
Six.
Yeah. And so as you slip out, you immediately become one with the shadow as you move through the alleyway, and you hear the sounds of the city. You hear the sounds of cards. You hear the sounds of drunk people yelling. The alleyways are quiet tonight. The alleyways are quiet. You don't really find anyone up to anything. oddly enough. So, what do you do with that?
I continue just kind of haunt the alleys for another 3-4 hours, then just find some overturned crate or something and call that my bed for the night.
Okay. Good. Yeah. And so, yeah, easy enough. I mean, you took a long rest earlier, but you would get another long rest if you desired.
That's the plan.
We're gonna jump back to Aseurius. You come out and walk, up to the counter, which the only counter there is the bar. And what do you say as you come up to the there's a female human there that it's still just serving ale as fast as you've ever seen. So what do you say?
Like, told that there's rooms available for us here if need be.
And she kind of glances over at you. She has this like long, straight, red hair, kind of pale skin, and she looks over. She says, "Oh yeah, 1 minute, honey, 1 minute." And she's like, she slings ale down here, and she looks over and she's Gavin, I've already cut you off. You've had too much already. And she finally slides down to you. She says, "Oh yeah, seen you come in. You're friends of Galith, yeah?"
Sure.
Sure. All right. Yeah. He told me about you. He said you got a room. You're up in 92, and she kind of drops it down there on the table for you. She says, "All right. You need ale?"
Nope. No, I'll be good for tonight.
All right. Sleep well then. Gaffin, what did I say? Get away from my bar. As she jumps on down.
I slip away silently, just hoping that other barmaid doesn't recognize the voice.
Wait, does it sound like your voice whenever it's?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you actually don't see Madeline running around right now, so
That's also
she
concerning.
might be done for tonight. You don't know. Or she's still running around talking to herself, trying hoping you're listening.
Or both simultaneously.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you easily enough you get your key. You head on up 2 flights of stairs to get to the rooms you're in. And you going down. You find your room. It's a single bed, queen, nice, modest. There's a trunk to put your things in. Yeah, nothing really special about the rooms.
Sleep with my blades on in establishments like this.
Fair enough.
Blades on, but
but,
pants off.
But,
Oh my.
can I do a check to make sure that there's make sure what are all the entrances and stuff into this room from anywhere?
So yeah, there's just the one entrance, and then there is a window kind of to the back, and the window is actually facing away from the city, and so you're kind of looking out. Honestly, like if you could see far enough, you could see the kind of mountains and things in the distance, but you're able to catch a piece of the river over around the corner of the building, and just honestly some flat land before the river.
Is there a way to make sure that window doesn't open?
There is a lock on it, yeah. There's just a little twist lock that clicks on.
I'll for sure do that. Is there any other ways I can see around so maybe jam it shut?
So it's one like it slides down, right? So it'll slide up, slide down. So you could always put something. You would know that you could put like a stick or something to kind of like lock it to hold it in place.
Okay. Actually, I'll just like slide one of my daggers just into the little ridge
Okay,
there,
like
so-
wedge it in there.
Yeah, just so it doesn't really damage the window, but it's enough to like.
Yeah, easily enough. And truly, you've probably done this a time or two. You're used to these windows, and so you slid it down, locked it in, and like in one swift motion, had your dagger kind of popped in the side there. Yeah, the window's not going anywhere unless they just bust it out, but they'll know that.
There's
You gotta
nothing
ask
else.
why your
concerning
regular
this.
players are so paranoid. Hills.
I know. I mean, what? I don't. I don't do surprising, crazy things. I don't know.
You knew my backstory. You know why.
Mine too.
That's fair. Yeah.
Um,
So with that, you're tucked in. You feel pretty secure. The door lock it has a regular turn knock, so you need a key to get in, which is how you got in. But also it has one of the locks that kind of pop over and kind of lock down over the top. It has like a single bar and then a bar that comes over.
A deadbolt.
A relatively secure, not quite like a deadbolt, but I don't know. Like it's a single bar that turns horizontally, and then there's a bar that turns over it vertically that kind of locks it in so it can't be pulled apart. Yeah. So you feeling good about it?
yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. All right, and yeah, so we'll jump over. And so now we have Lumidaar and Harold. You both kind of walk out together. Do you guys say anything? Do anything?
You want to go play some cards with me, Harold? Maybe we can get to know
I'm
each
not
other
much of a
little better.
gambler.
It's not gambling when you know
Oh,
you're
okay.
gonna win,
Let's.
Harold. It's not gambling when you know you're gonna win.
Well, how do you know you're gonna win though?
So I'm like, got these like little trinkets and stuff, and like I'm like doing little magic tricks and things with my artificer magic. So I just, I don't know that I'm gonna win, but I have my ways.
Okay. Well, you
Saw that one.
probably don't want me playing cards with you because I'm not one to I might end up giving away your secrets. Not necessarily intentionally, but yeah,
Yes.
might be a
Sorry,
bad
I
idea
thought
to have
you
you
were-
around.
Thought you were a cleric, not a paladin.
I prefer to play by the rules, but I'm not gonna turn you in or anything. But just probably not a good idea to have me in the know and there. That combination is probably not gonna work for you.
I appreciate your honesty, but I think it's a little ridiculous. But that's okay. I understand.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to know each other tomorrow and on the way to the mountain.
All right. Well, you have a good evening, sir.
All right.
Yeah, you
and
too.
as you all part ways, Harold, what is it you do?
I'm heading towards wherever it was that I was set up with my stuff, and getting there. And well, I suppose if there's anyone still around hoping to be seen for healing, I suppose I see to him quick, and pack up what's there and head back.
Okay. Yeah, so you were on the west side. You were over in the marketplace on the west side. You kind of set up amidst the markets. You set up a small booth there where you were offering healing, and word had quickly kind of gotten around to the town that you were there taking care of people. This is kind of your common MO. You go and help where you can. And so as you make your way back over there, give me a perception check as you kind of enter into the market area.
12.
12. Okay. Yeah. So as you come into the market, it has become nighttime, but there are torches lit, and almost every booth has a torch attached to it, so they can still stay open a little ways into the night. And so the market's nowhere near as busy as it was when you were here this morning. But there's still quite a few people around, and you do notice as you walk in some people kind of looking at you, and you hear just slight whispers as maybe they'd gotten kind of indication of what happened this morning, and now you're back, and they're curious about that. As you walk over to your booth, You can see that everything that you had there is actually kind of been covered up. Someone has draped some cloth over the top of it to probably protect yourselves and hide your goods. And as you look through kind of everything, it seems to be in pretty good shape. Okay.
And yeah, are there people there that need attention? Any sort of feeling or anything?
Yeah, so as you walk over, you notice there's 3 individuals, older individuals, kind of standing over at one of the other stalls. And as you walk over, they kind of look and you notice they keep glancing over at you, and one of them has almost like a position to walk your way. And finally, as you're kind of picking up your things, one of them does walk up, and he says, I'm healer man.
Yeah, how can I help?
Hey, my name's Gorman, and that's my brother over there, Grok. And he's a dwarf, but he's tall for a dwarf. And you're being a halfling, we kind of know this. Short curly hair and a medium length beard, and he says, I don't know, I got some sort of illness. Last year or two, been coughing up some sort of bloody mucus. Can you is that something you do?
Well, I can see what I can do. I'm hoping to head to bed before too long, but let's see what we can do. And so I suppose give him a look over and see if it is something that can be addressed quickly.
All right, give me a medicine check.
Oh no! Sorry, dude. 7.
7. Okay. Yeah. As you look over him, you kind of do a visual inspection, and there's nothing outwardly wrong that you can tell, and so with a 7, you're not entirely sure what's wrong, but you have a suspicion that a cure is probably not going to be a natural remedy like a salve or something, but it's going to need a magical healing of sorts.
Okay. Would I have? Does it seem like something that would be the disease?
It does. It seems disease related.
Okay. Then I'm about to head to bed, so I'm gonna get a rest. Sure, I'll do some restoration magic on you.
Oh, I would be eternally grateful, sir.
And I'll cast Lesser Restoration on him.
Okay. And you see as you kind of cast this spell, you see as like his body kind of like takes it in and like he just stands up straight, and you can tell especially that he is immediately healed.
Okay, well, I'm not entirely sure what the issue was, but but that seemed to have worked.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. I feel amazing. Oh, I think I can run a marathon. And then he grabs his bell and he's like, well, maybe it's going a little too far.
Take your time to get used to your health. And don't jump into things too quick.
Sure. Not listening to you at all. Like he takes off running and like he runs over and like hugs his brother, and then like he takes off running through the streets like a child. Like just suddenly feeling better than he's felt in a couple of years.
Look at him go.
Out of curiosity, would I hear him running through the streets, making all the joyful noise?
Give me a perception check, because you're kind of over in the market area, but definitely on the outskirts, because that's where a lot of the talk and trade happens.
12.
Yeah. So yeah, as you're kind of trying to listen in and hear for secrets, you hear the sound of this rough and gruff guy stomping through the streets and just like jumping around like a child. You can hear this. Unsure exactly what's going on out there where the common folk are, but it's unusual to say the least. All right. And so Harold will feel accomplished that, even though today has been completely odd, he's done some good today. And
I'm gonna sleep well.
Yeah. And so, and you do, you make it back, and similar to Aseurius, you're able to go get your room key and head back up. And as you head back up, you see over at the Hold'em table a large dragonborn who's just giddy. He's having a good old time. So, Lumidaar.
Yeah.
You walk out.
Yeah.
And your halfling friend leaves. You're all alone, but every table here, it has a handful of people at it, and there's almost an empty seat at each table. And you're looking for a Hold'em table, or as you look around, there's some Hold'em going on. There's some dice. There's some what looks like blackjack to you. So what would it be?
Let's try the Hold'em table first. We'll do that.
Okay. And you go and have a seat, and over behind the table, sitting up in a little bit of a taller chair, is an elderly, I mean, I would call her pretty old, dwarven woman. Short, straight, white hair. As you come sit down, she says, "Hi, we got a new one at the table. All right, we'll get you in right after this hand, honey." And
sounds good.
she says, "The game's Hold'em. It's a gold. It's a gold a hand. All right, don't get cards unless you put in your gold. Understand?"
Yeah. Are you ready for me now, or are you playing another hand?
Yeah, we'll play a hand. Let's finish this hand. And as she does, you watch as to your left there are two humans, and then to your right there is a dwarven man who's had a bit to drink. You can tell because there is a stack of cups beside him, but he's looking a whole lot better than the two humans beside you that he keeps buying drinks for. And his chips his gold is looking a lot better as well. And so he's got a stack of what looks like probably about 112 gold. Each of them have, if you were to do a quick count, the one on the far end has about 6 gold, and the other has about 12 gold left. How much gold do you put up on the table?
I guess we'll start with we'll put 25 on there.
25? And you can take it out and count it, and you sit it down there, and the dwarven man beside you, he says, "Hi, welcome to the table. Can I get you a drink?"
No, I'm good. I'm still drinking on this.
Sure, I'm doing well. Let me get you one.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so he says, he looks over, and he says, "Hey, Zadlin, keep him coming." And he does. You see a human male kind of scurrying around. He goes over, grabs some mugs of ale, and he drops one in front of your dwarven friend, and he drops one in front of you. And you watch as he wins this hand with trip twos, and he scoops in 4 gold or 3 gold from those two. And she looks at you and she says, "All right, honey, ante up if you want in."
All right, I'll throw a gold out there.
Okay. All right. So the way this is gonna go, we're playing Hold'em, but we're playing it with dice. So what's gonna happen is you will roll 2 d20s. Those will be your numbers to stay. Okay. Then I will roll 5 d20s in the chat, and whoever has the best hand wins. So if you lose, you lose 1 gold. But if you win 3 gold back.
Can I tell you how I was gonna cheat? Just so you can figure out. So as an artificer, I can do magical tinkering, right?
Okay.
Which allows me to, among other things, because my intelligence modifier is +4, on 4 different surfaces, I can create a static visual effect that stays on that surface until I dismiss it. Okay? And so my plan was, I was going to kind of look at like the cards, like what type of patterns and stuff are on the back of the cards and stuff like that, right? So, so I was going to play a couple of hands, just play a few hands through until I got a couple of aces over the course of, playing through, and I was going to mark those aces with just like a minuscule tiny little thing on the back that only I would know to look for. So just so that I would know where the aces are, and to kind of give me a little bit of an advantage.
So what we'll do, first 2 hands. First 2 hands will be straight. The 2 hands after that, you can have 1 advantage die. But on the first 2 hands, we'll have to roll a.
Right.
Do you have to do anything physically to put this mark on it?
I'll have like my drink in one hand, and I'll have it down, but I'll have my other hand just in my lap because I have to have my tinker's tools. I have to just have them in my hand because they're my kind of my spell casting focus basically. So they're just gonna be like in my hand, but like I'm just gonna be like playing with them like just like a nervous tick, right?
Okay.
Like somebody would do with a pair of sunglasses or whatever, right? So just kind of playing with them, and then when I get an ace, I'll mark it, like I'll kind of, because I can make it whatever I want. So it'll essentially be the same pattern that's on the back of the cards, but it'll just be like a few shades lighter, or darker, so that I know to look for it. And maybe other people can see it, but maybe they won't be looking for it.
So what we'll do is those first 2 hands, as we'll say you're marking them. I'll give me a sleight of hand check on those. Low DC because everybody's drinking.
It wouldn't be a sleight of. You wouldn't. Well, no, it would be. I'm just thinking like which cards I would mark, but probably the aces, just so I would know if there were some aces around. So. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So first hand, go and roll 2 d20.
Okay. I have to turn the lights off.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay, so I got a 12 and an 11. So is that like a jack and a queen?
It would be kind of be that equivalent. We're playing more with numbers now. If you click on that, it'll expand out what it actually was. So it's a pair of 15s. In the chat, do you see it on in the journal?
The journal.
You should see where I said 5d20. I rolled a 67.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Yeah. So what does that mean?
So if you click it and expand out, it'll tell you the 5 dice that were rolled.
Okay. So what's a 19?
We're just gonna play them for their numerical value, but there would be cards in the game. Okay.
So up to 20 cards in the game, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of 14.
It's complete homebrew.
It's 11.
Okay.
Well, would it be 14 normally? I don't.
But there would be, but there would be 4 copies of each one. So I think in our dice hold'em, you have a little bit better chance at pairs, or not at pairs, but a little bit. No, worse chance at pairs. But so at this point, you guys all have your chips in there, and so you all kind of flip your cards over. Of course, the dwarven gentleman on your right, he kind of leads the charge. He says, "Pair of 19s, read them. Highest pair on the board."
All right.
And then one of the humans next to you, he's like, "I got nothing. This game's stupid." And the other guy's like, I got pocket 6s. How's that?
It's not good enough, buddy.
And and so the dwarven woman, she looks at you and says, "What about you, honey? What'd you get?"
Nothing. Got nothing.
Oh, tough luck. And dwarven man says, "Oh, don't worry, you'll win them back soon enough." And he grabs the 4 gold that's on table, scoops it back to him. All right, give me a sleight of hand check as you
Okay.
as you mark. This will cover a couple hands. Before you get an ace, and you go to mark it.
So 11 plus 1 is 12.
12. Okay. And so as everybody was like kind of looking at their cards, you timed it out pretty well. You know what you're doing here. You're able to just subtly put that mark on there. Okay. And we'll jump into the next hand. Go and roll your 2d20.
All right. I got a 20 and a 16.
I've got to type the command out when I do the. Okay. 10 is 17 for our dwarven friend.
Booty cheeks. I got booty cheeks.
19 and 9, nothing. And 19 and 11, nothing. And our dwarven friend, he looks over and he says, "Oh, all I got's a pair of 10s. Y'all can beat that, right?" And the humans next to you say, "This is stupid. Why do I keep giving him my gold?" "Because he's buying your beer, Russell."
That's an expensive beer. It's an expensive beer, buddy.
Completely plastered.
They're so plastered. And he's like, "Don't y'all worry. You'll win them. I'm drinking just as much as you." And what'd you have, Ian?
I had a 20 and a 16, so nothing.
Okay. All right, so he took it with a pair of 10s. He
20
scoops them back toward him. And his little pile is just growing here. And you're down 2 gold right now. Go and give me that sleight of hand check as you mark the final couple aces in the next few hands.
Yeah, just one sec.
You're good.
All right, sorry. Dropped one.
Very good.
All right, sleight of hand check. That one's a 10.
10. And so, as you guys are playing, you have them in your hand. You go to kind of mark one of the aces, and one of the humans beside you, actually, he looks over and goes, Hey, what are you doing over there?" He's doing something weird with those cards. He's cheating. And the dwarven gentleman beside you, he says, "If he's cheating, he ain't very good at it. He ain't won a hand yet." He says, "Boy, if you're cheating, you need to try harder." And the game goes on.
We're moving on.
So you have all 4 aces marked, and so at this point you will get to roll 1 dice with advantage. So you can roll that dice after you see the flop, or the river.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll play 2 more hands, and that'll dictate kind of how you do the rest of the night.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Go and roll your 2 dice. Okay. Or you can just tell from the expression on your dwarven friend's face that he didn't do great that time. And so as you all flip them, he says, "Oh, you guys got me on this one." And one of the humans decides says, Wait a minute. I got 9. I got 2 of them, 2 9s. 2 pair 9s and 8s, and 19s. And she's, "Honey, you can only claim 2 of them." What'd you get, Ian?
Nothing.
Nothing?
all.
Did you roll your advantage?
I did, yeah. I've got a 10, 5, and a 4. So
Oh, man.
not doing
Okay.
well. Not doing well. It's all right though. It's gambling.
It's gambling. It's how it goes. All right, last hand.
All right, let's do this.
Our dwarven friend got a 12 and a 14. Here we go. And river falls. And you just see a smirk on his face as he really feels like he has this hand.
All right. Well, I've got an 8 and an 11, so I've got 2 pair.
Nice. And he says,
I did
"Oh,
something.
that's a good hand. That is a real good hand." And he flips over his cards, and you see that he has a 12 and a 14.
Unbelievable.
He has a straight.
Unbelievable. This guy is
And-
cheating. He's got to be cheating.
Oh, I ain't cheating. You want another beer?
I haven't even finished this one yet.
There's your
Rough
problem.
night.
This is a rough night. So you end up leaving the night. You end up leaving the night down. Leaving the night down 10 gold.
No, that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Only slightly
and-
embarrassing.
And he ends up like the humans beside you. They end up leaving when they're completely out of gold. And he just sits there at the table when you leave. Like, have a good night, young man. I'll be back here. I'll be here tomorrow if you want to come back.
We'll see.
He's like
I'll
just
see how that
scooping
goes.
up his gold into his coin purse here.
Probably cheating the whole time.
No,
Just
he
doing it
might have
much
been, but
better
I'll
than
be
I
honest,
did.
I wasn't. His rolls were just really good, evidently. Oh man,
He's got some item on him that gives him luck.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
what it
so.
was.
even that last one, I had to double check to see if it actually was a straight. It was.
He won every hand.
He really
Every
did.
single one.
Because all I have is 2 d20s. I don't have all my dice here, and so I was just giving him all the first rolls, and he literally won every hand. Oh man, that's
Classic.
classic.
Sorry, you gotta get the bad rolls out of the way now.
That's it.
So that when we fight later, then it's...
Are you sure
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, positive.
So, as you you finish up for the night, you get your room, your room number 93. Sends you on up. Kind of the same thing we described before. Pretty modest room. There's a bed. There's a storage chest and a window. There's a small restroom, and that's it. And so as you go in, I assume you just go in, lay down, go to
Home
sleep.
sweet home. Home sweet home.
And so with that, everyone who slept tonight, you can mark down a long rest as you sleep. You sleep comfortably, even in this modest room. And Xyvyr, you find somewhere somewhat comfortable to sleep. Leaned up against a tote, one with the shadow, and you sleep. And if anyone needs it, you can mark down a long rest.
How do you even mark a long rest?
You can't mark a long
Yeah,
rest
I
in
don't know
here.
that you actually do on here.
You would just
that
restore
is-
your health.
Yeah, you can restore your health, add back your spell slots. I think you can do. If you would, I mean, I know no one
You
used
can
them, but-
actually create trackers for all your spell slots too. And then just,
Yeah. So you can create trackers and stuff.
which is probably why they didn't do a long rest so far. Long
Yeah.
rest.
And
Especially
if
since-
anyone is curious, you can click on any character and see their character art if you're curious what they look like. I'm trying to see if I can do that as a viewer, so I can show the stream what you guys look like. Maybe. There we go. There is Aseurius. There is
Serious, you look so serious.
so serious all the time. Okay, so as you all, awake in the morning, you awake rested, and as the sun kind of comes shining through your window, you remember you should kind of be off first thing in the morning. So, what do y'all do? We'll start directly below me on the stream. I don't know the order for you guys, so we're gonna start with Aseurius. Aseurius, what do you do?
I think I wake up pretty early in the morning. Just chilling on the roof, enjoying the sunrise. No one knows I'm up there.
Nice. Okay. There we go. All right. And Hal, what are you doing?
Well, I suppose I get up and I suppose I should think about what spells I prepare. Hal would follow this, and I suppose depending on how long we go tonight, that may or may not matter which spells I have prepared. I can figure it out over the next few minutes. So some prayer and spell selection, and I suppose I'd try make kind of a mental list of what kinds of things would we need on the trek up the mountain to try to be somewhat prepared for whatever we might need to pick up from a shop before we head out.
Okay. And Xyvyr, I know you're kind of hidden in an alleyway somewhat at some point. And when the light comes up, the shadow you're kind of resting in, it disappears. The sun comes up, and you're kind of awakened by the bright light in your face.
Do I have any dreams that night?
Give me a just roll me a flat d20.
13.
13. Yeah, you do. And so as you sleep, you have the familiar dream that you frequently have, filled with, pain and torment. There was nothing directly unusual about the dream, but in it, you felt rejuvenated, almost like the dream itself wasn't as devastating as usual. So honestly, you woke up probably feeling like it was a decent night. For whatever reason, that just inkling of, I don't know, maybe you're on the right track.
I will. I don't have a pen. Yeah, I do not have a reading utensil. So I will take my I will take one of my daggers.
Mm-hmm.
Prick the end of my middle finger, open up the book that's in my inventory, and proceed to scribble the dream down with my finger.
All right. Yeah. Okay. And you record that as neatly as you can with the method that you're writing this. So you get it down on paper. And so Lumidaar, as you rise in the morning, what do you do?
So Lumidaar, the first thing he does when he rises is brushes his many teeth, clearly. But so Lumidaar, one of my infusions I chose to create an item, a magical item, and so I created an alchemy jug. And so every morning he kind of wakes up and looks over his options for what he can make with his alchemy jug. And so as we're getting ready to head out on this little adventure, he spends a little time this morning making 8 ounces of acid that he then fills up 2 vials of acid with and stows in his travel sack, I guess. So that's what he does this morning. Spends 5 minutes making some acid for use later on, perhaps.
So glass vials of acid in your travel sack, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
just
not gonna
two,
go wrong.
he just filled up two of his vials that he has.
Okay.
Carries around lots of vials as an artificer. So
Nice.
you know.
So as you all wake in the morning, you have a sense of duty, things that need to be done, and you are honestly all feeling relatively refreshed. Some of you, this is not your first night in Royal City. Some of you, this is your first night in Royal City, and it was not at all what you expected, but here you are. And with that, we will pick up next week with where you are going. With that said, anyone that is still here with the stream, hey, we appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. We'll be playing this campaign every Friday night, and there will be opportunities to guest star in the campaign later on. And so if you're interested in that at all, we'll have to make a command for it. Don't have it yet. I know Emperor's looking. He usually beats me with the commands as soon as I start. Like, he has the command out there. I need to make one. There will be opportunities to guest roll in this campaign and play alongside our fearless adventurers here, and so I think that'll be really awesome. Maradonia, I love it. Okay. And so that will be coming up. I'll give you more details about that as we get to that point in the storyline. But for now, let's preach a random item sermon on Maradonia. Where can I go? Because I've been actually working on a lot of the lore of Maradonia here lately. Maradonia, the start of the history of Maradonia. The year itself is PTE. It stands for Post-Titan Era. And so the current year in Maradonia, not where our players are playing right now, they're playing about 50 years in the past, but the current year when we run our typical games is 623 PTE, so Post-Titan Era. And the legend goes that the land of Maradonia was once ruled and reigned over by the Titans, and every other race and group were subject to them. But there was one Titan that stood against the others and reigned supreme, and it was on his grave as he died, laying down his life to save the land of Maradonia and those that were literally beneath him. His name was Aranos, and the year PTE is in respect to the life that he laid down so that Maradonia could be what it is today. And I just can't help but think for just a moment at how that signifies and how that equates and kind of goes and paints a beautiful picture of what Jesus did for us on the cross, right? Because each and every one of us have failed. Each and every one of us have rebelled. Each and every one of us have fallen short of the glory of God. We are subject to sin. We are deserving of hell, and we are deserving of damnation. That is what we deserve. But God so loved us that he sent his one and only son to live a perfect life, to lay down that life so you and I could be saved. You see, Aranos is fictional, but Jesus is not. Jesus actually came 2,000 years ago, and that's why we have BC, and that's why we have AD. It's before Christ, after death. I don't care whatever the woke culture tries to tell us it is. It's before Christ and after death. Whenever Jesus came, it split history in half. You see, D&D is fictional, but your soul and your faith and your salvation is not. There is a God that loves you, that chose you, that set you apart and sent his son to die so that you could be saved. And when you accept him and you believe in him, you are covered in the blood of Christ, and his death saves you. And you get to have that eternal salvation in him because of what he did for you. All right. Amen and amen.